Hi, folks. My name is Theodore Cottingham, a common, simple guy, an old guy now, in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, USA. And I bring you a school like no other, if you will be it. If you will come into a paradigm of progress, not, but a paradigm of power, no longer being the powerless you, operating in a world of molecular standards. The school of God operates like no other, for it operates inside of you. It doesn't exist just as a bunch of brick and stone buildings put together with mortar made by hands. This is the campus not made with hands. For the consciousness that's not made by hands. No longer molecular sperm steal of. That which is garnered our memory or our present consciousness to be separate from each other. For you to worship me, please stop worshiping me. Me a God, me a spirit. Whatever you call God, whatever your name for God. God exists as unconditional love, the original source of the original source, the source of the source, before molecular action was ever invented or thought into place. So you see, this is the paradigm of the non-molecular, the unmolecular me coming forth as you to be the spirit of you, no longer separate from me. One, God, serving not another, but becoming the one we really are. The one of the source that the source is, the one energy of one, becoming the one we are again. So you see, this school works from the inside out. I don't give you a bunch of words just to hear with your ears or just to see with your eyes, but I interact within you. Within you, I speak. Within you, I teach you directly. I, Theodore, I, the one, you, the one, you, the spirit of you, the inconceivable, not again, but the one who conceives you is you. This is the conception of the seed, where you bear the virgin word. You're the virgin. You bear the word. The seed is the word. So I come, I interact with your mind. Not limited to your molecular mind, your monkey mind, your functional mind, your neurons. See, I'll no more be limited to neurotic thinking, because I am unlimiting me. I am the unlimited me. I am unmolecularizing you, who will be it too, the spirit of you, taking on no other cloak of invisibility. Or will you have one now, like Harry? Or will you change? Or your hair and have long hair like mine? Lovely be in your own sight. Will you recreate you again? Oh God. No longer just wishing and hoping for power, wishing and hoping there's a Jesus, a God to serve. Will you come into my school and be my school and create my school of me, schooling me to be one voice, the Spirit of no other, casting us out of our holy place. I have given you 2,400 lessons in print, in database 1, and I have over 20 databases now. But database 1 is the foundation. I called it database 1 when I began the channel and received the words of God, first person, that instructed me not to edit them, not to take my name out, not to be impersonal, but to let everyone see in the words that I was writing that I was being given how I would talk to them if they let me talk like I do to you. Or do you see something? One speaking, one me, a me that is one. Me, God, me, what you called God, me, the original source of the source. I am not molecular. So I can speak through anyone, anything I wish, even a donkey. Then syllables that you hear in your own language. Balaam, do you hear me? Or have you experienced this where you're no longer holding yourself separate and apart, wishing and hoping for a better life, a better world, a better person to come along and romance you? Or will you romance your own word? Are you willing to have a relationship, a love relationship, a romantic relationship, where you woo, W-O-O? Not a concept talked a lot about these days that I hear. Are you willing to woo your own word? To woo your own spirit and not be captivated by another that you hear through you, through all these functions of the five sense mind. When you're willing to be taught by God, God will show up. Not. It depends on how many constraints you put on God. Do you want God to show up and touch you, heal you, make you better, give you a better life, just so you can enjoy your hubris, your arrogance, or not be dependent on other people? Do you want, really, do you want God talking to you just about the things that you know? Do you want God just to confirm things that you've invested your life in? Or are you willing to stand corrected? Are you willing to receive correction from on high, from God, the Almighty King, the woman, the divine feminine, the feminine divine, that which is unmolecular, not needing a molecular life to have life? Will you see what I'm saying? I'm explaining how the school works, the school of God, that internal is not the infernal of. And I infer a lot of things, and I make a lot of double entendres, triple sometime too. But I say, I see, I sign. I hear, I feel, I speak, I become. For when you begin speaking the first person words of God that you are sensing, a miracle takes place. The seed of the word actually opens and shuts neurons, pathways of light in your brain, your mind, your thinking, your consciousness. Are you willing to create a new neural pathway? I think there's too much light. So I'm just going to see here, fiddle with this light a little bit. I don't know if that's better. Maybe that's too much. You see, I'm a simple kind of guy. I don't know it all. And I'm not perfect. And if you want to know if my words are perfect, if the school of God is perfect, come into the words and search on perfect. Search on imperfect. And you'll find where God itself, see, God itself, God is not a male. Or do you just want to anthropomorphize it and create God in your image to say God is male or not male or female? Or will you, the Spirit, have a womb that begins to regenerate, not curses, but creation? And quit cursing you in your own separation. Create the womb. Create the God, create the source. Let the source recreate in you. And this is what the school of God is about and does with the willing surrendered. So you see, I began to channel these things as a God seeker, a dedicated, devout, devoted Christian in 2003. I had chosen for years to become a man of prayer, a devotee. But I wanted to know God intimately. I didn't want to just follow God. I wanted to know God. And I ask you to quit following God and begin to know God in the first person words of the resurrected you. This is what this is about. To come into your presence. Yes, you to come into your presence. Your presence. What do you mean? The presence of your Holy Spirit. The creative you, the creator of you that you were before you ever determined that you were in separation. You were it. You were unmolecular, you see. You haven't always been molecular. You aren't the heart of God of unconditional love, limited to this place, this planet, that body of yours. So we are becoming born again. And the way we become born again is not by repeating some mantra or some little prayer under the authority of another. This is where you begin your own leadership of you, through you, so that the words of love come through you. Unconditional love is a flow. I say so many things in so many of these teachings that are often about an hour long. Are you making notes? Are you taking notes? Do you subscribe on YouTube with the little notification bell clicked on your subscription so that every time I come on to teach, you get notified? This is school. If you want it to be, if you let it be, if you will become a student of your own spirit. You see, this is about spirit educating spirit. This is not limited to molecular entertaining or lecturing. Molecular minds to continue creating the distance between us, the separation, so that you worship God, so that you worship money, so that you have no power without money. This is the school of God, and I am Theodore Cottingham. So in 2003, I began to channel directly. I began to write the first person words of God on a tablet, multiple pages at a time. I had no precedent for that. Nobody encouraged me as I began to share Wow, you thought I'd become the devil himself, demonic. You can't hear God. What? But I've spoken about many of my experiences. And you will experience many things if you enter this school and begin to walk out of hell. Hell? Hell. Hell is simply a term for separation from you, where you have embarked upon this journey that you are creating in your separation of yourself between you and the Spirit of God, which is your spirit. You have no other spirit. See, that's a thing. We haven't understood what one is. One mind, one consciousness, one spirit, one existence. Not a bunch of layers of hierarchy. So this school does not work like normal school. You have to learn. And to come here, to be in the school, requires surrender. It's not money that gets you in this school. It's not a committee that approves your application. Or will you create an application to come to this school? Or do you know anything about enrollment, how you get into the school of God? This school of God that I'm speaking of, that I lead? Will you look? Will you listen? Will you learn? Will you create an enrollment form? How do you know how to create an enrollment form? This is step one, if you will, to create an enrollment form if you're really serious about coming to this school. But how do you know if you're serious about coming to this school until you begin to know how it works? You come into these words of Database 1, the first 2,400 lessons, multiple pages, 2,400. They probably average 4 or 5 typewritten pages apiece. That's about 3 times, more than 3 times, the volume of words of a Christian Bible. Over 4 million words. And you can search them online at schoolofgod.com. You can search them. You can search on enrollment, and you can find out how to enroll in this school. And you can think I'm nuts. You can think it's nuts. But this is the school that doesn't limit you. And no one anywhere on planet Earth or Father can keep you out of it if you want to know God. In the power of the resurrection. Are you willing to resurrect? Are you willing to create you again? This is what all this hubbub, all this nomenclature, all these descriptive terms about becoming born again pertains to. It's about you coming to birth your word, for you to become the unmolecular me, the me. And this is all about meonics. What a term, what a word. I'd never heard it till I channeled it. MEONICS. And if you come into this school, this is what you major in. Everyone who starts in this school comes into meonics, bar none. Okay. And from there, everything is branched out into many branches, many subjects. So that's why when you come to the website, theschoolofgod.com, if it's the first time you come, search on meonics. And you'll see the little search engine. Go to the God Manual. That's the term, that's the title now that I've given to those first 2,400 lessons that I used to call Database 1. I call it the Meonics Covenant. I've called it the Manual of Christ. I call it different things. The title doesn't defeat it, nor make it what it is. Those 2,400 lessons are what they are. They're the voice of God unedited. And they are perfect, not, they are imperfect. And you can find that where God says, when people ask you if these words are perfect, tell them, what do you think I'm going to say? Tell them they are perfect enough. So you see, the Spirit of God is willing to teach you directly, not necessitating another man's voice or a woman's presence or even a womb that you think is molecular, because I am one, and many ones come now to all make, to all become the original one again. The angels who fell are announcing their separation. This is the intrigue of other not. This is the intrinsic, the innate, the revolution of you in the magnificent revolution. Not of grace where you accept some kind of vicarious atonement for someone else that's done something for you, as so many have been taught. This is where you come into the leadership of you to learn. Inside of you to learn, with you, through you, your spirit emitting words, energy, where you interface, you interact, you copulate with your own words. You begin a new birth. Not like molecular, but love unconditional. So, in at least a tentative effort to be brief and not very long, how this school works. You hear me teach like this. If you will treat my lessons like school, it becomes school to you, where you become the student. You become the student of my words. You become the student of God's unedited first-person words in Database 1 that I now call the manual, the God Manual, 2,400 lessons that you can search, where you can begin to mull, you begin to ponder, you begin to search and see what is being said. As a student, a devout, devoted, disciplined student, where you care, you spend time, where it's something important to you, where you become desperate to know the real you. And as you listen to these words, my words that come over like this, a YouTube video, the words that have been spoken that you receive, that you begin to look up in Database 1, you'll find not collusion, but you'll find creation being created again. And there will be interaction within you, your mind, but not limited to your mind, but your spirit, the unlimited you, the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit, your Holy Spirit. You don't have any spirit that isn't holy, unless you just disconnect from love, like so many have. But you can connect to original love anytime you want to. Love is waiting on you. So many people have been taught we're waiting on God. Not so, not at all. God is looking for those who will initiate unconditional love, beginning with the person in your mirror. So you begin to have questions because the way these words in Database 1, the God Manual, the way they are spoken, the way you read them creates curiosity because so many of them are anything but like the normal diction and grammar that you expect from some textbook or some periodical, some newspaper, because they're all channeled. And it's the mind of God creating the mind of God for the mind of God to be the source, no longer of any intermediary. So you'll see, I value the Bible. I quote the Bible. Very often I quote Bible verses that are very significant in reinterpreting, redefining, and understanding the real who you are and what born again means and how literal that is, where you begin to become the resurrected you, no longer limited to flesh, but operating in your spirit. Jesus is the pattern. Jesus knew at times what people were thinking and replied to their thoughts. He walked on water, calmed the storm, fed the 5,000, raised the dead, healed the sick, acknowledged the centurion's servant, didn't lay hands on him, told the centurion, your servant is healed this very moment. This is the power of the power that I speak of. This is the power of the power that I teach, not relegated to man and mankind's molecules of a catatonic state, of a cataclysmic nature, of brutality, of control, decimating everybody. Leadership is initiated when you're in the school. And you cannot be reclusive. You can't hide anymore. You've got to quit saying, little old me. I don't have any power. I don't have any money. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit about me, you, or whoever. This is where we're no longer defining our life by other people's curse words or holy book. I quote the Bible a lot of times. I was a devout, devoted, disciplined Christian for many, many decades. I taught the Bible for a while. But I kept seeing more and more and more to the story. And I kept having more and more questions, and I kept asking them. And I kept telling God, I'll do what it takes. I heard Catherine Kuhlman speak one day in Tulsa, Oklahoma, what I call a one-point sermon. Will you pay the cost? So it doesn't matter what you think of Catherine Kuhlman, whether you call her a faith healer, a fake, or a privileged guardian angel of some type. That doesn't matter, because what you think doesn't alter the truth of the original source of the source before there were molecules, before there was planet Earth. The school of God treats you as leadership, whether you are a woman, a man, whether you're a whore, whether you're a harlot, a fornicator, a murderer. No matter whether you have your PhD in neuroscience or you never even went to school and don't know how to write. Because love, unconditional love, creates itself. Unconditional love creates unconditional love. This other kind of love that is sensual, lustful, controlling, wants to exert itself in domination or even a dominatrix or whatever. Everything about comparison, to compare in order to classify, in order to control, is not of unconditional love. And unconditional love knows, detects, receives, perceives when your desire is to connect with unconditional love rather than God, the way that you have been taught about God and who God is and what God does and what God wants. This is the school of inside you. This is the school of the unlimited you, the school of your spirit, where you begin to learn to meet with you. We can say you begin to meet with God, but God is one of many ones that all have one mind, one consciousness, one energy. And it's a state that is not molecular bound by. And so there's this interaction when you come into these words, when you listen, when you begin to take notes, when you begin to treat this as school, it becomes school, a school you enter. And when you get serious, you'll find out how to enroll. You begin to search on mnemonics, search on dastardly, deeds, beneficial. You see, whatever comes to your mind, because you intentionally begin to release that hold on your spirit that your mind has. See, your mind wants to conform your spirit to its image. Your mind wants to create God in the image of something that's been spoken to you. But you are the living author of the creative word to be the creator again, if you are but willing and afraid no more. So there's leadership. Overcome the victim mentality. Overcome your powerlessness. Overcome seeing you in the mirror as grasshoppers when you know there's giants out there everywhere. The giant of your husband's eyes, your wife's voice, who has nothing but disdain for you when you seek the things of the Spirit. It's costly to know the voice of God, the God of unconditional love, one mind, one consciousness, because there are so many things that we have valued so highly. We have valued our word, we valued our worship, we've valued what we have thought. We have made our thought king, no matter what you call it. The bottom line is, we've set up thought, and thought has ruled us. Millions and millions, billions of people are happy. They just want your eyes upon them. They want to give you their words so that you think with their words. And I'm asking you to begin to exercise the leadership, to begin to learn to live by your words. Haven't you lived by other people's words long enough? Haven't you been under the authority of preachers and priests and all sorts of holy people long enough? And the books, no matter how true they are or not, no matter how authentic or accurate, let the living word begin to come through your lips, my friend. This is the school of God in the first person, me, that's you in your mirror. You begin to search. You begin to let there be light. You sit down. Go to schoolofgod.com. Right there on the front homepage, you can search now. As much as you want to, 24 hours a day. You can search, put in words, you put in phrases. If you put in a phrase, it requires quotes on both ends. Search. And it'll bring you to a little screen, and it will list all of the documents in the God Manual. It'll list a file name and a sentence of context where your search term shows up. And if you want to look at the document, the entire lesson, you double click on the hyperlink file name, and all the file names in the God Manual are, the naming convention is database.volume.lesson. So in other words, 1.2.3, 1.2.3 would be database 1, volume 2, lesson 3. And that's how they are referenced and footnoted. And you see, there's an entire system of education within this school that is not just implicit, it is explicitly laid out within these lessons. How to operate within them, how to engage with them. There is a learning system where you begin to look up things, and eventually you'll come across a word that's not two words, but one word. Look up. L-O-O-K-U-P. You'll find there's a lookup function. And if you look up, you can look it up with one word or two words or both. There is a cross-referencing system. There's an enrollment form that you can create, and you can learn how to create it and what to do with it if you're serious. And if you're not serious, don't waste my time. It's costly to be here. It's costly to sit in the presence of God Most High. And it's humbling when you find out it's the real you. When you let the Creator create within you the living word for you to bring it forth, it's humbling. You don't walk in the presence of what I'm talking about with arrogance. It doesn't work. It doesn't operate. You stub your own toe. The angel that bars you from the promised land is you. Your promised land is inside of you, the garden of creation, the Garden of Eden. Creators are coming forth, and this is the school of creation. This is the school of creation, creating creation again by enjoining, imploring, teaching the creationites who became the creation to become the creator again and see the separationlessness, to begin to fathom, understand the molecularless, the bodiless, the timeless, the infinite that you really are. And becoming who we are again, no longer subject to the sword. We become a people. Even if we fall on our sword, it doesn't hurt us. You can read about that. You can read about it in the God Manual and find references to it. I'm talking about a people of the new covenant. The new covenant. The new covenant rejoices at its birth in you, who will be whole and is not separate, where you become not subject to something that you say you believe. This is about reestablishing the identity, not of the church, not of the Bible, not of its authority of a believer, but the identity of who you are, the I am. The I am, I am. Coming forth, I am. That you are, I am. That we all begin to see a race of I am equal with I am, without a hierarchy, no one having authority over another, because we are love, not implicit, but explicit. There's a generosity, a kindness, a set of values that don't separate my children from your children. They begin to see a different world, not limited by the molecular. And this is our privilege, to operate within the school of God. You see, you can find, now I'm quoting, but so many things that I say are just words, phrases lifted right out of the God manual, the things I've channeled. How many times it says, tell them, Ted. I used to go by Ted for many years, most of my life. Tell them, Ted. Tell them to pick up their pen. Tell them to pick up their pen. You can search on that phrase. You can find a lot of things about the pen, P-E-N, the power of the pen. Far greater than the power of the purse. This is the paradigm of power. Tell them to pick up their pen and write me, whether you call it Ted, Theodore, God, Ralph, Betty, Joe, no matter what name you want to name for unconditional love. You begin to write to unconditional love. Tell them to pick up their pen and begin to write me, and I will begin to write to them through their own pen as they write me. This is the process. This is the leadership of him who is not, but she who I am is. This is the leadership of the genderless, molecularless, bodiless spirit of one to operate through your mind, where you no longer conform your image to a male God or even a female God. You begin to go past your image of God, past your book you called your Bible. When you are ready, willing to hear within and be corrected, you will judge you. Judge you surrendered. Judge you surrendered to be who you really are. Worthy. Worthy. Who's on your mercy seat? It's time you understood leadership and coming into the presence of the Most High, God Most Holy, where you are it. See this, and friends, this is not about tapping into this. That's common vernacular. Tapping into this energy. Tap into your God man, your God source, your God energy, your this, that, or the other. Tap, 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 tap. No, that's very inferior. And I suggest to you that only the ignorant use those terms. We're talking about something holy, sacred, divine, beyond. This is where you don't kneel to another, where you come into the presence in utter humility, to establish a new identity, to create a new you in the power of one, the power of your resurrection. This is about the God story, the Jesus story, the resurrection, the revelation of you I am, the revelation of you revelating your own creation of you to no longer serve another. This is how the school works. Schoolofgod.com. Costs you everything. Because you're reestablishing your own original identity to no more be covered over by flesh, by words, by the creation of sub-God, Lord God. Realize that control will do almost anything just to keep your mind worried, keep your mind working, keep your mind absorbed in your five-sense world. Schoolofgod.com. School of God is where you come to enter, to lay aside your power, to remain separated in this molecular world and enter the cosmos, the cosmic consciousness of that which is not limited by the universe, but that which is unmolecular. So that the fashion and form of you cannot be contained by another person, nor made to do anything in this world. And as you begin to come into that power, creating that power day by day, word by word, sentence by sentence, paragraph by paragraph, that you begin to listen to and make notes of and interact and engage with, where you wrestle with it. How can these things be? How can two things seem polar opposite, mutually exclusive, and be operating at the same time? The process of creation is messy. You don't just have a revolutionary revelation and speak something into existence in finished form. You are the creator of the creation of the creator of the creation. Now create the creator again, please. And create no more separation from your own creations anymore. This is entering the promised land. I love you. This is schoolofgod.com. Share these words. Share these broadcasts. Look up the word broadcast. Learn to write papers. APA style. You have a doctorate? Or maybe you'll get one. Or maybe you won't need one when you resurrect. Can you imagine a school where everyone there on campus and everyone online is there to help each other graduate? No test, no grades, no comparison. This is where creators create. This is where love meets love, not law. This is where the values of mankind stink. in all of its self-serving mannerisms, diction and grammar, profiling, classifying, segmenting, separating, eliminating, shunning. This is the opposite. And you, my friend, if you care to create the light will speak. The light will teach. The light of unconditional love that creates unconditional love in you that is not powerless, where you begin to speak your word of love and annihilate words of hate and brutality. And strength will come into you from another source. Not the source of imagined God, but the source of original love. And this is what this school is about and how we operate. And as you make these connections, you begin to write. And you will begin to share because you will birth your own living word. Unconditional love must come through you, somewhere or other. If you can't write it and publish it any other way, go take a walk and write it in the sand. The stars will see it. It comes through you because you, my friend, are transmitting all the time. There's a lot of communication going on that we haven't known, that we haven't understood, between people in the spirit realm. The energy of one knows the energy of one. And when you come into your willingness, your readiness to receive, to become what that energy is, you will broadcast that energy and you will touch the life of the Creator, who you create again to be the one in your mirror. God redeeming God, the Messiah fully formed, the one that's you for you. No longer keeping you out of your Garden of Eden, the Garden of Creation, your promised land. So we're all coming together in new ways. Take a step. Take a leap. Take a step. What is that, a Harrison movie? Harrison Ford. He needs to cross a big gap. And he knows. He's told that if he'll step out, a board or whatever will appear and he won't fall. But it's not visible. It's a great visual. Oh, that moment. I think that's in an Indiana Jones movie. We're learning to fly. Remember the Matrix movie at the end? At the end of the movie, what happens? Neo walks in the phone booth, makes a call. And he says, I'm going to tell the people that what you don't want them to hear. And he hangs up the phone and he steps out of the phone booth. And he lifts off into the air and begins to fly. Wow. The resurrection. So you see, the university, the operation of the new covenant. The new covenant word is within you. It was never separate. It's all inside of you. You see, friend, all of this, all that we see as this universe is inside of you. All knowledge, wisdom, and understanding has never been withheld from you. And we are now at the entry point of entering, re-entering, not to use it, not to tap into it, but to create ourselves again, our race of light people, people of original light, loving light, becoming light, no longer making a separate race of flesh molecularites anymore. So a lot is about to change very quickly, rapidly, with alacrity. And many people will learn English from these words. Maybe that's why a lot of times I speak the way that I do. Love the people who speak nothing like you, who look nothing like you, who don't smell so good. Love them. Let love flow. Let love flow this day first to you to become it. No longer running around trying to minister to everybody else or do something that's good. This is the becoming. The second coming of you, to you, where you resurrect, you and your spirit of this unmolecular, no more seeking success, no more seeking to achieve, but reestablishing your identity, not in hate, but unconditional love for each other. Theodore Cottingham, schoolofgod.com. I love you. Share these words. If you're in this school, let me know. There's a contact form on the website. And my email I've given you many times, Theodore Eureka at Gmail. I've given you all that I am. You choose now what you do with it. Become the lover of you first. You're worthy. Be no more sacrificing yourself for another. Be the original. Two shoes in love with you who love all equally. I love you. Good day. Thank you for sharing these words. Come into the school, schoolofgod.com, and begin to flow. And worry not about a thing. Worry not about a thing. Worry. Look up the words worry. See what God has to say about worry. And become the becoming you to experience the resurrected you in one. It's our time. Thank you, friend. I love you all. Good day. Thanks. Thanks for being here. Thanks for loving love. True love. And loving love will speak and teach. And what a love affair transpires. Good day. See you later.